Hey guys, and today I'm gonna show you some powerful tips in VCV. So the first one is about mouse wheel control, and finally there's a module from Stuhlmelder that calls Spin, and it's in beta now, but I will share with you a link in the description. So this module has incremental and decremental outputs that you can apply to famous sail module, and now you can control any knob in VCV just with mouse wheel like that. So as you can see the cursor right in here, and I just use mouse wheel to control knobs. So this is the first one. The second one is a new stroke module from Stuhlmelder 2, and in terms of spin it can enter into the fine mode of the sail. So let's map F key and choose the toggle mode. So, and let's activate the fine, and now you can see my fine-tuning with mouse wheel control, and pretty cool. And in sail you can set slew limiting and step size, so to not apply pretty much different settings each time you control the knobs. I prefer to set step quite a bit, but not so much, to make some wide controls for the knobs. And when I press F here to activate fine control, you just decrease to find around set previous parameter here. So this is how it works. Also, now it's pretty handy to record automation with mouse wheel. Just set record mode to move. Click here, and then you should click on the parameter, and when you start to move the mouse wheel, automation will be recorded like that. So, and when you release left mouse click, automation would be stopped. Yeah, that's pretty awesome and pretty handy to record and control everything even without MIDI controller. This absolute game changer, I think. So the next tip is about additional strong stroke functionalities. So for example, for this slot I can choose zoom to module, and for this slot I will choose zoom out, and for the first one I will choose Z key, and for the another I will choose Alt and Z key. No mappings required. I just press Z key and voila. It's a kind of zoom to fit function right now in VCV, and when I press Alt Z it shows all the patches. So when I duplicate these plats and place it, I forgot to say about a pretty important thing. There is always active option in the spin, so if activated you can't scroll down with the mouse wheel, so you can just deactivate it and then you apply to scroll down. So For example, I just turn down the second plats and then I press Alt Z, and you show entire. It shows you entire patch, which is pretty handy to see what's going on, what model do you use, and then if you need some adjustments, you can just hover mouse to module and press Z key. Awesome. It's pretty awesome. So the next tip I'm gonna show you is about awesome arpeggiator sequencer modular from AZ. This thing has some built-in rhythms or sequence on board based on what notes you input in there. Let's take clocked and apply clock. Yeah, you can see now how sequence is moving. So the key in this tip is a shift knob here. So each time you move in, you just reset the position from the sequence is playing. But if you gonna automate this, for example, with VCV map micro and for example BPM LFO, it's gonna clock and reset to the AZ as well. And let's take our plots. Let's choose a fan mode. Let's apply output and put it to the mixer. So it's playing now without any surprises, and now I'm gonna apply some internal MIDI mapping with BPM LFO, and you can hear such stops in the sequence, which would be pretty useful to make some adjustments and time stops in the sequence, which I think it's really cool. So sometimes, for example, I need it, but sometimes it's not. So I'm gonna use sequential switch, and for example, any sample and hold modules in VCV rack that you want, just the first one. Let's clock it and let's apply to output input 2 and LFO to output 1. Let's choose a fourth inputs active, and let's divide the clock a bit and then apply output from sequential switch to the micro map, and let's hear the results. Pretty cool. And another tip on the modular, to change some arrangement things, especially root nodes here, and I'm gonna use 8-phase for this as universal expander in VCV rack. Let's save this one. Let's change to the C, for example. And to the F. And let's sequence it a bit like that. Also, you can also add some accent and legato using a slow clock division. Then the sequence is playing. And let's increase gate decay a bit. And you can hear things changes here. And the reason let's decrease amount of slots here, and the reason I do that is because when I changing the node here, modular will change a pattern, so sometimes I just don't need that. I need pattern with some time stopping here in the shift, but no different changes in the pattern itself. So I need remove one node, insert another, and that way modular will do the previous thing basically. So this was a thing about AZ modular. And let's switch to the another tip. It's based on switching effects, and this tool of trade from Buck Audio that's called Switch 44. This is pretty nice because each knob has its own label to understand what's going on in the patching road, and in our case with switching effect position in the patching is pretty needed and awesome. So I'm gonna use chronoblob delay, XFX reverb, and XFX also filter. So and also I'm gonna use send from Volt for multiplying and for insert uses purposes. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna connect I'm gonna convert this stereo inputs and outputs to poly one with Aria Salvatrice Splurge. This is combining merge and split modules by 4. Let's duplicate it 4 times. Okay, and here's the thing. One split for the one module, for example, send here and return here. For chronoblob, output here, input here. For reverb, same thing. First left and second right. And for the filter as well. So I changed my mind. Let's add a plateau here. Okay, the reason why I add these modules because they has a wet control, or in the case of plateau, even a dry wet control separately. So the thing is, in different routing, these modules can generate a pretty different effect, especially when weird filters from XFX are applied and when different position of mix knob are applied too. So I just connect volt send to the 1NA and delay inputted output also here, and filter. Okay, connection are done, and this time to choose our routing. So let's go from the module's position. The first one would be from send to delay. So for example 1 to B, and the second one from 2 to C, the third 3 to D, and the last one from 4 to A. Let's pass our sequence to the input here. And let's have a listen. Let's apply clock synchronize here. The filter in this chain is pretty awesome and generates some smooth or harsh effect, depends on your settings. So what if you want to change and even sequence the routings? The answer is still in 8-phase, and this version of Buck Audio switches supports anti-pop filters inside, so when the lights going into different position, there are no audible clicks, and it together with 8-phase, which is pretty cool. Let's choose the right module here. Let's save these routings. Let's repatch it. So for example, now the filter will be first, so we do 1 to deconnect first, and second filter to delay, so fourth to code actually. So D to B, oh sorry, I think 4B, no. Yes, 4B, and the second one, third one would be from delay to reverb, and the last one from reverb to the out. Let's take a listen. Let's save to the another slot, and let's make another routing, so the reverb would be first one, then filter, and then delay. So let's connect reverb, send to reverb, 1 to C, and to the filter, C to 4, 3 to D, and then to the delay, 4B, and finally delay to output. Let's take a listen. Okay, to hear the obvious difference in the routing, I will apply some weird filter here. Fully wet modulation, like that. So I believe you can hear the difference, and they are pretty cool. And let's sequence this thing. Isn't that beautiful? We can also divide this clock by 2, for example. And if we gonna take some weirdness from this XFX, like FM modulation, you can hear more obvious difference here. Yeah, now it's pretty 4. And now it's pretty close. And now it's pretty shimmery. And now it's pretty 4. Alright. This thing is pretty funny. And let me show you another tip that in my opinion is pretty powerful. It's a macro control patch from just using one knob. Also module for this is a NIST surveillance. So it has 10 different outputs that we can apply. Let's switch to the normal filter here. So we can apply to some parameters. We're gonna modulate by inverting this thing. So it would be frequency. It would be amount of delay. And it would be morph control here, and even maybe harmony, and I think it's enough. So while I'm starting to increase this thing, you can hear the difference. No, you can't, because we need to turn this to, let me zoom in, to 0 to 10 voltage. And if this knob position will be at 0, no changes, let's increase it. Like that. So it's pretty high for harmony now. You can even apply a negative voltage, just turning it here. Like that. So it's kind of morphing between parameters. And the key is the subtleness. So in the end of this knob, I would like to apply maximum filter to it and nearly maximum dry wet to this delay, a little bit modulation for morph, and just a subtle change in harmonics. And let's record some automation. Let's apply record mode again, it's already applied. Forgot to set a record here. Yeah, here we go. For example, like that. Let's press run. Decrease modulation. Pretty nice. So that was my powerful tips for VCV rack. Thank you for watching, guys. You can get this patch on my Patreon as well, as always. So see you later.